That started way before one. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the No Banger Sports Card Podcast, episode 7.
Oh,
I am
67.
joined 67. Okay,
67.
67.
No, wait, it's 57.
That's-
It's
we can't do
57.
that
Oh,
anymore. It's not
57
cool.
off,
Yeah.
man. You just ruined the
You're gonna wait.
excitement.
You're gonna
Bro,
wait,
this is like
wait 2.5 months.
this is like a real life episode of Anchorman, the movie, where you just what's on the thing. He just reads it and not.
Late April is going to be awesome though when we have 6-7 though.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think right.
Yeah,
Take
shit.
early
I don't
May.
know.
April?
My math. Listen, I'm
June?
on daddy daycare today, so my math might be off a little
weeks?
bit.
June is 6-7. Month
No,
of June.
he's saying episode 67.
Oh, episode 67. Gotcha.
I'm joined by Rod from Picking and Punching Cards, Cary from American Arbitrage Cards, and I am Tim from Over the Years Sports. Cary, I must say, I kind of like your haircut right now, your hairdo.
Yeah, I'm going I'm going to my first day of kindergarten look. I just got the same haircut I had back then, except I have a beard now.
See,
I
I
did not
was,
have
I
a
was,
beard in '89.
I was thinking he's doing the more like the Homer Simpson comb over. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh,
I
yeah, I'm
thought
combing it
I thought
over.
it looked more like Zoot Suit Daddies.
Oh yeah, dude, yeah.
Cherry
Zoot
Pop.
Suit
Was it
Riot.
Zoot Suit Riot, Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
When's that coming back? When are we gonna have? Now that we're in our 40s, it's more appropriate for us to wear the pinstripe suits and
Yes.
everything. It will look cooler now than.
Do you
when we
know
were
that when
15.
I was in middle school, I used to wear suits to school?
hold
for
on
a
a minute.
brief
How are
period
we
of time?
supposed to know this? You're like, did you know? Like, how
I
am
don't know if
supposed to
I ever
this?
told you.
I'd
that
believe
story.
anything. I'd believe anything Tim told me about from his past. Honestly, anything.
I would buy like the most like from like the movie Friday, like the brown suit from like the thrift store and like
I love
rock
it.
it to school and just
I would raid I raided my dad's closet for all his 70s clothes, and I would get the biggest lapels I could because I was obsessed with like freaks and geeks and everything. So that's what I
It'd
did.
be awesome if we like just showed up to a sports card show in like 70s.
We should do that. We
70s
should do
leisure
suit
suits?
day at the National and
Like
see how many
Leisure Suit
people
Larry?
also do suits.
Do you ever play that game growing up? Leisure Suit Larry?
Loser
I've
Suit
heard of it.
Larry?
Leisure Suit Larry.
No, never.
He's
heard
like
of
a
it.
guy who's about he wears like this,
You were a
neon,
wild
like,
man.
blue,
You were
like,
a
leisure
scoundrel,
suit.
so I'm not surprised you played
and
that.
the whole game concept is he walk around trying to get laid. Like there was like a computer game, and then like yeah. But anyway, all right, guys.
I've seen
Super
some
Bowl.
wild outfits at the National before. There was that. I don't remember if it was last. I think it was 2 years ago when it was me, Cary, and Don and Jimmy at Cleveland, and there was a guy literally walking around in like a
a bag in his
Versace
head?
bathrobe.
A bathrobe.
Yeah, you
Was it
remember
the-
that guy? He was always in.
Yeah.
We saw him in line at the bar. Like there's like a little mini bar like in the middle of the convention center.
Is it the guy who's on YouTube who always wears a bathrobe when he talks?
No,
about
not that
Oh,
guy. That
okay.
guy he's a lunatic. SVC or something like that, allegedly.
It's 3 letters, starts with a S, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, that guy's a
SCV.
weirdo. Don't
See, I thought
watch
you were gonna
his
say you're gonna
content.
see a lot of people walk around bags on their heads because they're in Cleveland with the Cleveland Browns. So that's what I was expecting.
You know, it's a big day for SCV when he flips the board around and he has the other side completely filled with stuff. He's got the dual-sided whiteboard.
All right. Last night was the Super Bowl, fellas. What do you guys think of the Super Bowl and how it's going to impact cards? That's my question.
I will listen. First off, I'll give you my professional, football analysis of the game before we.
Oh yeah, because
relate
we all
that
know
to
your top
cards.
5 QBs at the beginning of the season. But all right,
That Seattle defense is amazing.
no joke.
Now listen, I don't, because I want to preface with that because listen, the Patriots had one of the easiest schedules of all time. They had one of the easiest runs to the playoffs, and I don't want to take anything away from them or take anything away from the Seattle defense.
But you're going to.
But I'm going to just a little bit, yeah. So like, I don't know the offensive left side of that offensive line for the Patriots. Will Campbell really struggled as the season went along. It was like a turnstile last night. And, it wasn't – I don't think Drake May played bad necessarily. He's going to have to fix that fumbling issue because if he wasn't Drake May and that was any other quarterback, it'd be a serious topic of conversation. But in the offseason, I think that's going to be something he's going to have to address. I think the Seattle Seahawks are just that was a complete team effort, not just in the Super Bowl, but all season long. There were games when that defense gave up a bunch of points and Sam Darnold threw, 4 touchdowns in a game. Jackson Smith and Jigba was your offensive player of the year. Kenneth Walker was just phenomenal, especially down the stretch in that season. And, like AJ Barner is a guy I've been talking about for a long time now. He stepped up in that game. Special teams has been really good. I thought getting Rashid Shaheed for them at the end of the season from New Orleans was a fantastic move by that front office. Great coaching staff. It was just that team is I feel like there's a lot of teams that are going to look at the way that front office constructed that roster and are going to try and emulate it, because I think that was a complete team effort. And if you want to win a Super Bowl, you got to be able to play defense. You have to be able to run the ball. Everybody wants to be able to pass the ball and score all these points, and you need to be able to do that in the regular season. But when it comes down to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, you have to be able to play defense. You have to be able to run the ball. So the Patriots defense played really well. Christian Gonzalez is an absolute. Let me tell you, Washington, every Washington Commanders fan was irate last night because Ron Rivera's that's going to be something that 20, 30 years down the line, people are going to be talking about. Ron Rivera drafting Emmanuel Forbes over Christian Gonzalez. And he was phenomenal. At the halftime, I was like, it's Jason Myers and Christian Gonzalez are in the leaders in the clubhouse for a Super Bowl MVP. So
I was joking at the start, texting you guys saying Jason Myers MVP.
Yeah. I don't even know if he has any cards.
Debate that he was going to get it. He had the most points ever, right, or the most field goals.
I think so. Yeah, most points ever, I believe.
Part of the reason why I want to bring up the Super Bowl last night is all we talk about right now is defense, defense, defense. Why aren't defensive players' cards more valuable?
It's one of my biggest pet peeves in the hobby.
Why not? I don't understand it. We have some. Even go back in time. Look at Charles Woodson. Look at AJ Hawk.
Here's the thing, though, dude. The play for defensive players is kind of set up for bargain boxers like ourselves, because you can find a nice low numbered or autograph of Devin Witherspoon or whatever in the bargain box, because people don't care. Dealers are just whatever, or they get it in a box break and they don't want it. And you can flip those. You're not flipping those for Drake May money or anything.
Yeah.
But a lot of, I make money, selling cards for 15, 20, 25, 30 bucks of, underrated defensive players all the time in the hobby, at least underrated.
Cary, remember when we were at the 100-mile yard sale and we bought that box of cards, and it was all those open packs, and we went through them and we found a bunch of case hits and autos and stuff like that. And there was one guy that was in there whose autograph, we each got one because we did a draft of the packs. We each got one, and that was Nick Imanwari for the Seattle Seahawks, who ended up having a fantastic season.
I sent something to DC a while back, and it did better than expected. So, Nick is fairly popular right now. He's a rookie, and people, always hype up the new class more than they do the guys that have been in the league 3, 4, 8 years. Like Sam Darnold, what could he have done aside from 8 touchdowns in the game that would have changed his market much? Even if he is, it's just because he's old hat. He's a vet.
That's a very interesting, topic of conversation, because if you think about it, right? I saw some Sam Darnold prices at the shows the last couple of weeks. A lot of people asking for a lot of money, and it's tough. He's a tough sell, but I think he's also a good sell. And a good buy, because I feel like you could still find him in bargain boxes 1,000%, right?
Absolutely, 100%.
But think about it, that 2018 class has some really good quarterbacks. Sam Darnold, Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, and Lamar Jackson. Out of all those guys, if you would have said that Sam Darnold would have been the first one to make it to the Super Bowl, yet alone win a Super Bowl, people would have thought you were crazy, right? So, he won a Super Bowl. He's the first one out of all those quarterbacks to win a Super Bowl. It's really interesting.
Well, I think a big portion of that it comes down to his projection, his not the best projection, his path through the NFL, because he was on the Jets from 2018 through 2020, went to the Panthers from 2021-22, was a backup in San Francisco 2023, finally starting in 2024 with the Vikings, and now but got pushed out after having an awesome run through the Vikings, and so I just feel like he just doesn't get the respect.
5 teams in 8 years.
Yeah.
There's only one other quarterback in NFL history to win 14 regular season games in back-to-back years. You know who that is?
No.
Tom Brady. No. It's the only other quarterback to win 14 games in back-to-back seasons.
It's pretty incredible, too, with 2 separate teams.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. He came in, he was the new guy, in town in Seattle, and let him, I don't really follow football game to game or anything, but like that's a massive, massive feat to be able to pull off. It's just, I always like to think about in the card realm, it's all and I say this every week and I know it's repetitive, but it is a hype potential based market almost always. And Drake May is hotter because of what could be. But here's the hilarious thing to me is if he becomes what they think he could be, he's going to go down over time more than likely because there's going to be a new hot guy. George McIntyre is going to come into the league or Champion Mond or whatever his name. Like there's guys that are still in high school that are going to Jared Curtis or whoever's going to come in 3, 4, 5 years into the NFL, and they're going to be hyping them up and not as concerned about, even if Drake May has won 3 MVPs.
So let me ask you this. What I like to call this is does this really come down to what I like to call the team tax? Because it goes on both sides. So you have, Patriots, Patriots have a huge fan base. Cowboys have a huge fan base. Bears. There's certain teams that when you get cards of those players or they get drafted to those teams, they're automatically going to get a premium because of the team that they're with. But on the reverse side of things, like you're getting drafted to the Jets, to the Panthers, like some of these other teams that don't have that fan base, it's a negative effect. So do you think like going forward, when you're looking at these players, does that factor into your buying decision when you are buying cards now?
I'm not holding. I'm not a speculator. So that's the thing. Like what matters to me is this week's market, or actually the day that I buy something. That is my goal. It's always nice to find something that's a good deal that also has potential. So like if I can find something for $5, it's worth 10, but also, there's a potential in the next weeks or months that it could go up in value too. That's awesome. But I'm definitely not the guy that likes to buy cards at the price, at the market price or even a little above, thinking they're going to go up because of that. But there is definitely a team tax. You're 100% right. Yankees prospects are always going to get top dollar. A second, third rounder that has a little bit of potential is going to be, more hot than, I don't know, a Colorado Rocky first rounder, and they have high picks in general. But Charlie Condon was pretty hot this last year. But I'm talking like a mid-round, like Rocky's pick is not going to be nearly as hot.
Okay, so you just mentioned a couple of like high school, football players coming up, going to college and stuff like that. So we see the team tax with colleges as well. Based on the, because Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame, Penn State, Michigan, those bigger teams, SEC teams, are always going to get a premium for their players because one is they have the TV exposure, they have everything else. So when you are picking up these prospects, I know that a lot of those prospects, you're not moving until they're actually going to those teams or they start playing college or maybe getting ready to be drafted there where they don't have a lot of cards. So does that factor into your decision-making then on the prospects you're picking up?
Oh yeah. Especially when I'm going through bargain boxes and looking at older players. Like if they played at Georgia, I do that. There was a Georgia guy I picked up recently. Oh, Noshawn Moreno. I found the red press pass. So if you guys don't know about press pass back in the day, the red signatures, not all of them were numbered, but they were all short printed to about 100 or 150. Later on in like the early 2010s, I think they started to put the actual numbering on the cards. But a red Noshawn on Georgia looks even better. And that sold immediately for me. I mean, Noshawn's been out of the league for over a decade. But so if you play at Georgia, Texas, Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame, Florida, maybe there's several Florida schools you could argue for. Even if they're like, that's what I love about the bargain boxes in particular. And it's obviously could be guys that are currently hot or guys from the past because, there's always going to be a nice established fan base. There's even a fan base for like the University of Utah, like me, or wherever anybody goes to school, Tartar Sauce State. There's the 3 guys who, I don't know what you guys ended up doing.
Shout out to our social
curling
media,
or whatever you guys ended up having.
Shout out to our social media team who posted some Tarleton State content to the Instagram.
I love it, man. We should just start. I think our Instagram should just be, I'm going to start going on there and just sharing stories about Tarleton State. Like anytime any game happens, whether it's volleyball,
we should get like jerseys and hats and stuff.
I thought you hate the jersey guys that run the whatnot shows and do everything else. Now you want to get jerseys to be a jersey guy.
No. Whoa. There's a big difference between wearing a Tarleton State jersey and wearing an indoor soccer referee breaker jersey that they got off of Temu. It's a big difference between the two.
Yeah, one is artistic and the other one is the guys yelling at whatnot.
All right. So, question for you, bargain box bros here is when you're digging through bargain boxes right now, have people missed the hype now for the Super Bowl when they should be buying these cards leading up to the Super Bowl, or is there any Super Bowl hangover where they can still make a profit off the guys that perform well in the Super Bowl?
If you find a Kenneth Walker, that's decent.
Kenneth Walker for sure. I mean, he's all over the bargain boxes.
Yep.
I saw in Cary's Instagram post, there's not Instagram, Facebook. There's a lot of people who just like Facebook is full of trolls and stuff like that. But yeah, I think Kenneth Walker's definitely a play. AJ Barner, I'm telling you guys, tight end market can be low key good. AJ Barner is a guy I've been talking about. Now it has to be like a nicer card. So like I Pink Wave Prism of AJ Barner I listed at auction.
But what about
go ahead.
AJ has Sage autos and stuff, right? Like that's stuff you can find for like $1.
Regular
probably.
Autos too. Like
you can probably find his autos super cheap.
Yeah, for sure. But I like AJ Barner. I think that's probably going to be it. I still think you can get Sam Darnold in the bargain boxes. I mean, people like the card market is so weird. Like, not even just the card market, but the reaction of people. Like, if I frequent Sports Card Nonsense Facebook group, and just like the amount of posts about like people going it's so cliche now at this point. Like, oh, the Drake May, I hope you sold your Drake May cards, and it's like people I don't think understand that there's multiple levels to how you play this game, right? So like if you have the financial ability, and this is more of a long-term fun game for you, and you believe in Drake May, then this is great for you. Buy some Drake. Man, I apologize for the light. I was on dad duty and I haven't been able to cover up my blinds here. But if you believe in Drake May, you buy him on this dip, right? And you hold him if you think he's going to go up. I mean, but then there's people like us where it's like, I sold all my Drake Mays the week in between the championship and the Super Bowl.
100%.
And I was getting $16 to $20 on auction for select base Drake Mays. And then I had a couple that I threw up on for buy it nows, just like at the start of the game, just in case. I'm not going to lose anything on those cards, but like if, for an example, he did something crazy, then they would have sold. Then I'd put a few on auction. It's like there's a big difference, and there's bargain box cards, then there's high-end cards, and there's graded cards. Like there's so many levels to it.
It's
I think that people overreact a lot, and it's just like the dude he went to the Super Bowl and he finished second in MVP voting, and in his second year. Like, what are we like? Is it really going to be like because he didn't win the Super Bowl? The drop off is going to be that bad.
It's going to affect his short term, whether in 3 months. Like I was listening to Neo Cards and Comics, and he was talking about something like if they draft a good receiver in the first round of the draft, like somebody hot, Drake May cards, it makes sense they would have a tiny spike of some sort, more than likely. So, I mean, if you guys are, I had a good thought and I kind of lost it, but we'll move to it later if I remember it. But go ahead, Rod.
I was just going to say is like naturally the football market's going to drop down after the Super Bowl. That traditionally happens every single year. We see that across the board. So I guess my question to you guys is, I mean, on your off season, do you guys have a strategy? Is there certain players you guys are looking to pick up? Like I'm sure
I do have.
All right, go ahead.
I do have something, Rod. I don't mean to be interrupting you or anything, but I think, and this has to do with the off season too, what you're asking about buying. And there's no exact science to this. We're all, learning as we go. Anybody who says they know how card flipping works 100% is not right, because nobody has a perfect understanding of it. But it feels like the best time to sell a card, right, is when, we don't know the outcome yet, right? Oftentimes before a season starts, before this, like in between the championship game and the Super Bowl, and there's the most potential like upside coming up. Like if Drake, and there's a good argument if Drake May had a great game, it could have not even affected his cards too much either. Neo was talking about that in his video today as well.
That's the Patrick Mahomes, syndrome.
Yeah, it's like the
cards were already so high as is. Like
it's like all the hype was already built up, and you might even be able to make an argument on Drake May that it built up even before the championship game, whatever his ceiling was, at least for this round of hype or whatever. So, you need to sell in that time when the hype is high, and none of us know exactly, but if you believe in certain players right now, the off season is a great time. Like, it's a great time right now to be looking at NFL mock drafts, and then going to card shows and seeing if you can find some guys who are potential first rounders, second rounders, third rounders, guys that you think are going to be overlooked, skill position players. Because you know this, Tim, like a skill position, like second or third rounder that's like a wide receiver, could have a decent market in April when they get drafted, or even before that with all the hype of the combine and stuff like that. And you might be able to find their autos or their numbered stuff from Bowman U or Bowman's Best or whatever, even Sage in the bargain box.
It's interesting because there is a bit of it may not seem like it, and this is something that I'm starting to become more and more intrigued by. With football and baseball, I think that there's a smaller off-season window with changing in pricing than basketball and like maybe hockey, right? Where like
What do you mean
think about it, so Super Bowl ended today. Free agency starts in 30 days.
Okay.
So you have a month basically. Soon as some of those big name guys start signing, the market's going to start changing, right? Not even just for the guys that are signing, but the players that can be impacted by those signings. Like Cary was talking about, if a wide receiver gets drafted by the Patriots, like, will that affect Drake May's market? So you have 30 days until the draft. I mean, until free agency opens up. You have 76 days, I think, until the draft.
Yeah, so March 11th is the free agency period. Opens up.
So you have 30-something days until free agency, and then 70 days for the draft. And in between that 30 and 70, you have combine, you have pro day workouts, all that stuff. I have not been selling any college football cards except for a few. So like Byron Brown's market, very interesting. I found a
dude. I could told you all about it, man.
I found an auto of his in a bargain box recently. Bowman's Best refractor auto, not numbered, not a first, nothing. And like, I listed it for $15, and like I got immediately was getting like massive offers on like multiple platforms.
Yep.
And eventually I sold it. It sold for, I believe, full asking price. But like, Ruben Bain, if I find any numbered Ruben Bain stuff, his market is really crazy.
University
Jeremiah Love. I just sold a first Bowman Teal Lava, non-numbered Jeremiah Love for $20.
Yeah, he's
Plus
projected probably to be the first running back off the board.
Yeah,
give or take in the first round. Yeah.
So like those college guys, I'm holding most of my college stuff because like Arizona State wide receiver. Why am I blanking on his name? Jordan Tyson.
Tyson. Yeah.
He's going to be one of the top wide receivers off the board. But like, if you look at his cards, they're like nothing. Like the college football market is so down right now, and that's going to be the biggest play in a month and a half. Is going to be your college football stuff. Your guys that are going to be going into the draft, obviously. But then like once spring football starts, then the buzz is going to start going around. Like because college football season, the spring games start in a couple of months here. So like that's going to be something to keep your eye out on too. So like for me, football, and then after the draft, then basically you're a month away from off-season OTAs, rookie mini camps. And it's just like the off-season for football is a lot shorter than I think people realize.
So one thing I love to do when I go to card shows is if I see college football cards, I see wrestling or UFC, I ask them how the market's been for them. Because when I go to a card show, there might be 50 tables there, and there might be only one or two tables that have college football. You know what I mean? Like, so they're one of the few people there. And multiple dealers at multiple shows have told me it's not selling well for them, except for Fernando Mendoza. You know what I mean? Other than him, he's like the only one that's really selling. Carson Beck, because we're in Florida, so like I see that a lot. Like he sells for them because of the University of Miami. But like other than like those two guys, I agree with you. I think it's a big play, and I think there's a lot of opportunity. And I think there's a lot of confusion too because of the NIL, because Hell, we had 4,000 players enter the portal. We talked about this previously. So I think that's another big, a big issue for a lot of people. I will tell you, though, the local card show this weekend, I did pick up a Darian, the quarterback for Duke. He just transferred to Miami.
Menza?
Menza, yeah. So I picked up an auto of his for like $20, which
There's
is
the
good
thing,
because
though.
all his stuff went right up as soon as he transferred.
Do you think, Rod, or Tim, do you think that with all these transfers happening from especially small school guys to bigger schools, are there a lot of opportunities I feel like I see it all the time, like in bargain boxes, if you're paying attention and you can go in and you can find, their Bowman U or Bowman best card from this last season or the season before. But now that they've just changed schools, like I keep finding Raleek Brown. He played at USC, which was a pretty big school, but he had a pretty good season with ASU, over 1,000 yards. And I keep finding his stuff, autographs, Bowman U, Inception. I picked a number to 25 Inception auto first for $10 at the show this weekend. So I feel like I find that kind of stuff. Do you guys look out for that though?
Yeah,
the small school guys that go to bigger schools?
I feel like there is just an abundance amount of numbered Bowman cards in 50-cent dollar boxes. Like just the rows of it. Right. And I mean, like, there might not, you'll find a couple, like I find Ruben Baines in there every once in a while and some other guys, but like, it's kind of crazy to me. And Bowman and college football are in a weird situation right now because I think the buyers market is still trying to figure out what they really want. Right. Because like, it's so different than Bowman baseball, right? Like, a first Bowman is always going to carry weight, no matter if that guy gets traded or not. But like sometimes you're seeing where a non-first Bowman of a player is selling more than their first Bowman in college football because their team is not the same team as their first Bowman.
Yep.
So like I think that's where it gets a little funky with college football. So it's like I think, and I'd love to have Gaby on again soon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To kind of like break this down because I feel like with college football, you have these very intermittent.
Let's go with intermittent. Let's be very intimate with it.
Sounds better.
I like intimate.
You have these very small, intimate windows, right? But there's like 50 of them.
You know, like small windows.
It's not about the size of the window.
So like, you have like the transfer portal window. Then you have like the season window. Then you have the draft window. Then you have like the signing period window. Then like you have like the season window. Like it's all these like small like chops of time period where it's booming. And then like everything in between, it is not like it's a slow decline. It's just like it falls off the face of the earth as far as pricing goes.
I think we are going to be in an interesting 2 to 3 years going forward because they're still trying to figure out the NIL stuff. That NIL stuff is going to impact the cards we buy for players in the draft and players before they're being drafted to the NFL. So I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next, 2 to 3 years until it all plays out, until they get that under control. But yeah, I mean, it's a good debate and see what there. So I guess the final thought then on this topic, guys, for the offseason, is there anything specific that you guys are looking for right now in the football offseason? Because we are in that window right now. There's no free agency. Is there certain players?
Jaden Daniels.
Jaden Daniels. I was about to say that. I literally just picked up a stack of Jaden Daniels cards in the rookies in the dollar box.
It's crazy. Jaden Daniels. I'm buying Jaden Daniels all day long.
Yep.
I think you buy anybody and everybody that's in the dollar box. Like, why not?
You buy. Yeah, you just play the game like we always do. Buy cards that seem like good deals, and move on.
I think it's tough to say too, like because I want to give you like a pinpoint name, right?
Yeah.
But I think you can't go into it like right now, like off season, right? You gotta wait until that free agency window opens up. You gotta start seeing like how these rosters are gonna be constructed, like which teams are making power moves and stuff like that. But generally, you want to look for guys that maybe had either an injury or a off season like when I say off season, like they didn't perform very well, but you think they're capable of performing better,
Or
like
maybe
those would be
a big coaching change or something that could impact them.
yeah. I mean, it really just depends. But I mean, like it's not like I'm gonna go out there and buy Geno Smith cards right now. You know what I'm
Dude,
saying?
how
Like
pissed off do you think Geno Smith is right now? Sitting at home watching
what
that Super Bowl.
I was talking to my wife about that last night. I was like, DK Metcalf entire career in Seattle, and then Tyler Lockett.
Yeah.
You know, like guys like that who like it's just 1 year, 2 years, 1 year removed for some of the players, but like 2 years for a lot of it. But
Here's a
yeah,
guy
it's tough.
And I don't want to give speculative advice because nobody knows the future. So this is just something I'm thinking of. Take it with a grain of salt, not buying advice. Somebody I could think of that you have you had an intimate window of time where you had a nice Ashton Genty 1/1. Remember that was awesome from Bowman. If Mendoza goes to Las Vegas, theoretically could see a bump for Ashton Genty right then. Right at that moment.
And you're getting Kubiak, too, who's going to be their head coach, the offensive coordinator from the Saint.
So I think Genty is one that I know, like doing the weekly auctions, and you do, all of us doing weekly auctions, we know how much, there we go. We know how much Genty has.
It's prep for PSA.
There you go. So that'll be back before the season.
And,
when there's still, before the season when anything can happen, right? I don't know who thought Seattle or the Patriots were going to go to the Super Bowl, but I do know most every team, even Jets fans, feel like their team's going to make the playoffs and make a run every year. So
no Jets fans.
Maybe not Jets fans.
Maybe not Jets fans.
They're in a bad situation.
So at that time, like if you get that back and then you sell that in August or something, when the hype, when people are really, there was a good preseason game or some mini camp stuff that came back from Ashton or something, that could be somebody I could see would be worth pay. I mean, there's right now when I'm in a bargain box, if I'm any stud people that have had a good run and have good name value the last year or two, Ashton Genty, quarterbacks, if I can find anything colorful of them in the Prism variety, or the optic variety, I'm picking them up. But even color match stuff, I got a Pat Bryant orange, which I think is an exclusive.
I like him too. He was coming on strong before he got hurt at the end of the season.
He was good. He was a third rounder. I think a third rounder that had a lot of people liked him in college. He was out of Illinois. But I picked up an orange, color match for $1 and actually paid less because I got it in a bundle. So stuff like that I'll pick up, especially the color match stuff of offensive guys in general. And I'm looking for the defensive studs from the Super Bowl. I'd love to find. I bet you I can find some Devin Witherspoons. I could probably find several other dudes from the defense as well in the next couple months. Still in the bargain boxes.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens going forward. But it almost feels like we've seen a shift this year in the NFL, where it was kind of it was a weird year. You didn't have Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs. Like there's a lot of stuff that just happened. So it's going to be interesting going forward to kind of see. But speaking of interesting, though, have you guys seen Panini announce, and we have a preview of the new unlicensed basketball cards? Now, we talked about this on the show. What's Panini going to do going forward? They're going to come out with unlicensed stuff, unlicensed or licensed stuff. And since they lost the license now, I want to show you guys what these look like, because I want you guys, I want your opinion on this, because this is actually very interesting. So, all right, you guys see it here on the screen. So this is all right. So Blowout Cards actually put up a preview of the Panini Signature Series basketball cards, and I will say, after looking at these pictures, they actually do not look bad. They actually did a really good job positioning the players.
They look significantly better than Topps did.
Yeah, look, I mean, that cover athletes card looks awesome.
I love the one with the jersey. That reminds me of the stuff from like the late 90s, like the Kobe die cut 100%. And stuff.
And then they did the decision, so they had like
the NIL ones look good.
Yeah.
The only thing that I saw from these the Panini set were some of the base cards. Or actually, I don't know. Is this the set that has the Donruss cards in it? Or is
no, this is separate. That I don't know.
Because I saw some pictures of like Magic Johnson, Donruss that looked like the classic. Just he's wearing.
What's the price point?
Generic.
We don't know. So that's the thing on it. But this question is kind of twofold for you guys. One is, are we going to see do you think we're going to see like baseball pricing on the Panini product this year? Because like previously Panini did not have the license for didn't have the license for baseball, so they produce a lot, and this stuff is usually around like $200 or $300 price point for a lot of the boxes and stuff like that. So I mean, like, if we can get more reasonable pricing, and these cards look like this, I'm intrigued with it. I'm not gonna lie, like I expected to be honest with you, to be the shits, to be completely like a horrible design, but like I don't mind the design in these at all.
I
It
bet
kind of shows you what's possible.
But this is the thing. They might have just shown you all the good ones.
Fair.
Well, I mean, it's a signature series, yeah.
And as soon as you open up the box and you don't get any of those ones, and you get all the ones that look like,
well, look, this has like thoughtful design. I mean, there's not a heck of a lot you can do with basketball, but the fact that they did the side angles, they did the basketball in front of where the logos would have been, I think they were very much thinking about how this could look as good as possible without the logos.
So, okay, here's my question for you guys now. Previously, people poo-pooed all over Topps because they didn't like the unlicensed product. Because
let's even take it back poorer.
Okay.
It says suggested retail price.
They didn't really poo-poo over on Topps. They poo-pooed on Leaf. Leaf was the one who got poo-pooed on all the time, right? Because they were like, it's unlicensed, wild card, Leaf, all that stuff. Poo-pooed on, right? The influencers and the content creators and the breakers, they tried to sell you that Topps non-licensed football was good, right? They tried. They pushed that on everybody like it was okay because it was Topps, right? Panini baseball has been unlicensed for so long that you didn't really have that. There was no like crossover time frame pre-COVID and after COVID, right? So like there wasn't really like an opportunity to like poo-poo on Panini baseball because it's always been unlicensed for the last 20 years. So this is different now because we're post-COVID hobby era. Okay, so like they were trying to sell you, like people were selling Drake May, Jaden Daniels, non-licensed Topps autos for big money. Also because the Panini products didn't have autos.
Correct.
So that's the big difference too, is if you have players who have autograph exclusivity with Panini that don't have autographs in Topps, then you're going to have an interesting situation. But that's VJ Edgecombe right there, autograph in Panini. He has autographs in Topps, no?
Good question. I don't know.
I've not
if he does.
Notice many. Be honest with you, he might.
I mean, I didn't. I actually
Here's the thing. Like I think too. Like we're obviously. I'm not breaking. I'm not like trying to push people opening this product. But the better that a Panini basketball product does in the secondary market with reselling, I think it's better for the hobby. I want less power consolidated in Topps and more spread out. And I, for one, am always looking for deals. And I feel like there will be some of these cards in the bargain boxes for sure. And there might be some stuff that I can flip because just people are overlooking it, but it's still a good player. I live off that stuff, the Donruss autograph, stuff like that people are undervaluing, but it's the right player.
Yeah.
So
going back to my question, my original question is, people poo-pooed Topps Chrome on the design of basketball and football because they didn't have the licensing. Now Topps is going to have the license going forward, but so we'll see an uptick on that product. Now going back though, Panini's previously had the basketball license since 2012, and they had it for the last decade. Now, are we going to see more? I guess what's the best way to word this? Are we going to see more of a demand for this product because people are so accustomed to buying Panini product? So they're still going to get the same product lines they want, but just with a non-licensed design. So are we going to see an automatic decline, like right off the bat, like we see like a boycott of the product, like we saw with like Topps because it's unlicensed? Or are we going to see more of a people are going to be just traditionally so used to buying this that they're going to just buy it anyway? So that's my question for you.
It depends on the price point. It all depends on the price point of the product.
$105 was suggested retail.
$105?
$105. Obviously, that's probably going to be bumped up, but that's what this suggested. Look down. It says,
right here, box suggested
retail 105.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And yeah,
One
I
auto
think-
per box. One slabbed. What does it say? One slabbed
yeah,
auto.
Yeah, it's one sealed in a one touch case, just in honor of.
So
Cary.
is only one card in that box?
No,
Five-
it's,
Five cards?
5 cards
At
but you get your one-
105, with the potential for kabooms and an autograph. If that doesn't get massacred by breakers like upcharging everything, like if we could go into a store and get boxes for around that price, I could see that being fairly popular.
I mean, I don't mind the less cards in there, but guaranteed hits and at the $100 price point, like that's more reasonable for the average man. You know, if the person's making 30, 40, 50 grand a year, can they go in and actually buy a hobby box at that price point, you know, and actually be okay with it to a point, you know what I mean? Not saying you're going to go in there buy a case and stuff like that, but you know, there's definitely options there.
So they'll be interesting to see if this is going to be the route that they take. So they're not going to do the traditional releases. So you're not going to see unlicensed Prism basketball. You won't see unlicensed Optic basketball. You're just going to see products like this.
Do we 100% know that?
No, I'm just saying that
okay.
it'd be curious to see
still
if they
gonna
go
do-
that route, because it's a lot easier to sell this product based upon the imaging.
Yeah.
But once you have to start trying to sell Panini Prism in action shots of basketball players, you're not going to be able to hide the non-licensing like you are in product
I
like
think they're
this.
definitely going to do less products, Tim, because part of the contracts that they have with the leagues is you have to produce a certain amount of product, right? Every year, 13 SKUs or 15 SKUs. They're probably going to be able to be a lot more direct on what they want to do. I still think they're going to do Donruss. They're going to do just some bulk product they can put out on the shelves at retail stores and just massively, hopefully, sell. And then I could see Prism and Optic still coming, but there might be more Chronicle type, things like this where there's several different varieties of cards or brands within it. It would make sense.
You have to remember when Panini was trying to sell last year, and in their, I think the New York Times, or someone got like a pamphlet of their selling guide and the points they're talking about, but they did state in that document that Panini expects to be more profitable now going forward by producing the same products and stuff like that, but with being non-licensed, because now they don't have to pay the license fee. They only have to pay a license fee to the actual players that that are playing these games and stuff like that. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting going forward. And then this just dawned on me as we were looking at those cards. We're talking about we just talked about how all those insert cards look great, right? But do the base cards really matter? And I'm asking you guys as a serious question. Do base cards designs really matter? Because most people are chasing the inserts, the
Depends on the
subsets,
set.
in the autographs. But I mean, like, does it really matter? Because what do most people do? You go to a card show, everything used out on those tables is going to be either inserts, autos, patch cards, case hits. You're not seeing a lot of bulk, common stuff. Or if you do, it's going to be one table in the back, and that's good for the set builders. So does it actually matter?
I think it does in certain sets. Like next week, we're going to have a classic "It Does Matter" set, Topps, Series 1 coming out. It's going to 100% matter who the rookies are, the base rookies. Now, are you going to, in years past, some of them have been so hyped you could get $10, $20, $30 for some base rookies coming out the gate. I don't know if CAGs or anybody is going to be that hot, but they're going to be sellable, whatever that price range is, right out the gate. Archives, Heritage is an all like base set. Like people love to collect that set. So I think it's going to matter. The question is though, with like Panini and a lot of the football sets, do people care about base Optic cards? Do people care about base Prism cards? Outside of the rookies, I'd argue they probably don't. So maybe they just cut out all the fat and keep just the rated rookie prospects or whatever. Their college guys they could put in too, instead of having a separate draft Prism. Maybe they can combine it. Consolidate it, and then they could have a lot of the college guys in the uniforms because they have licensing with the college teams. I don't know, or maybe they want to keep that separate.
I'll tell you this: more people build sets with Topps than they do Panini.
Well, you have to remember,
100%.
Panini only had the license from 2012 on for like basketball, football, stuff like that.
Nobody
So
was building those.
Yeah,
nobody's
no one's
building sets.
people are building Topps. I mean, you're starting. I mean, you go to card shows, you see people have their list from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s. They're sitting there building those sets. And I literally just ran into a guy at the flea market over the weekend that literally said that he was looking to buy Topps cards from 2022 through 2025 baseball because he likes to put together sets. So like,
Yeah, there's nobody like putting together 16-17 Excalibur basketball. You're not looking for the who's from that? I don't know, like Michael Carter Williams or whatever.
Dude, I just found out I was today years old when I found
Dario
out Mike
Saric.
Connolly Jr. is still playing basketball in the NBA.
Yeah, dude. He got traded, didn't he?
He got traded and then traded again and then released and then signed back with the team that originally traded him, the Timberwolves, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Conley can still play. His dad, you got to remember, his dad was like a Olympic like runner. So like,
I feel like Connolly Jr. has been in the league for like 20 years.
and he had the speed too, though. What I'm saying is like he's athletically inclined where he could probably be a bench guy for a while if he wants to be smart enough and fast enough still, and he's
Wizards
kept himself
traded
in
for
shape.
Anthony Davis.
who just traded?
The Wizards traded for Anthony Davis.
You guys got somebody said it best.
Oh, yeah.
I heard this on Instagram or Twitter or somewhere. It's like you guys always get the guys that if it was like 5 years ago, it would have been awesome.
Yeah, I literally
like
wanted
5 years
Anthony
past
Davis
whatever
like
their
10
prime
years
was.
ago.
You have the
But it's
best
an interesting-
2020 team out there right now.
It'll be an interesting season next year with Anthony Davis, Trae Young, and all the young pieces, and hopefully a top 5.
You got Davis for next to nothing. Gosh, Nico Harrison or whatever. He ended up getting what 2 second-rounders and a first for Luka or something like that when it was all said and done.
It was a weird basketball trade deadline for sure.
The Jazz, we got Jaren Jackson Jr. I was excited about that.
Yeah, it's a good pickup for you guys.
I was
Yeah,
surprised
he was playing
Giannis-
well against the Magic. He was in Orlando playing well, and then of course the Jazz just benched him so that we'd lose because I think the Jazz are tanking, which is a whole nother thing.
So we got I think the two biggest names I was surprised that didn't get moved was Giannis and Morant. I thought both those guys were going to get traded at the deadline.
100%. I thought so too.
I thought Giannis was going to get traded, but not Morant. I think Morant's too much of a head case. He's too much of a risk for a lot of people. So I don't know. We will see what happens next year. But all right, one thing I want to talk to you guys about because I messed up. I ran an auction and
go figure. Rod messed up.
Yeah, Rod didn't
one
do
thing
good
the
with
three of
card
us are
stuff.
good at. One thing the three of us are good at. It's messing up. We typically
but it's not
always.
It's not
mess up.
buying a 1991 Pro Line box. Rod's gonna mess it up.
So I ran this auction, which for this the Stephen Marbury here, and which I found at the flea market, which I found for $10, not a big deal, but I ended it on the Super Bowl like a dumbass. So like I want to talk about the art of running auctions because you both run auctions.
What's the player's name, Rod? I can't read
Stephen
it.
Marbury.
Okay, good.
But the comps in this card, like the one last comp is like $125, so it's sold for about half the price.
Let me ask you a question. What made you run this card on auction?
Because this is part of my Jordan journey.
Oh,
and I only had $10 into it. And at the end of the day, I was already gonna make a profit. I was gonna send it to DC Sports. I kept forgetting. And then I was like, you know what? I'll just run it an auction because I wanted money coming up for a future show coming up. And I just sold a bunch of other stuff off. So I was like, you know what? I'm building up a bankroll. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm fine with it. I made $50 on it. Not a big deal. You know what I mean? That's $50 I can add to my Jordan journey, which I'm, selling cards I pick up to build a bankroll to get a Michael Jordan rookie card.
A great time to buy non-football cards.
I didn't think about it last Sunday when I just clicked because it was up for buy now. I'm just gonna send it to auction real fast and just it's already up. Click of a button. Not thinking the Super Bowl was.
It's such a particular card though. Like somebody who needed that for a set, you probably. I mean, how much did you really lose? Because that's a card I think certain people would know about and they would be paying attention to, or at least put the pre-bids they're willing to pay before the Super Bowl, wouldn't you think?
Depends. Last card sold at auction for $125 or something.
Oh, dang.
That. Yeah. So and it has multiple sold like PSA 9 and PSA 10s. Last PSA 10 sold for like $600.
RIP to whoever has that card and thought it was worth $120.
Yeah. So
we're 59 now, buddy.
So I think this is a good lesson for a lot of people to learn that because auction timing is very important, especially if you guys are going to start running auctions. Because Tim talked about putting up some cards in the NFL playoffs for running auctions. Cary, you sent a lot of cards to DC Sports.
Yeah.
So I think we should talk about what cards you guys should be running at auctions. I think it'd be important to educate people on the timing of an auction. Do you do a 3-day auction, 5-day, 7-day, 10-day auction? So I think these are all
an
things
interesting
we need to touch on.
Aside too, do you think people should be taking comps from this weekend, especially Sunday comps, with a grain of salt? next
I'm
weekend at a
sure
card
the
show.
smart people will, but there'll be some sleazy guys who are like trying to sell cards and be like, "Well, look at the last comp is it works both ways." I mean, listen, the Drake May, good luck comping Drake May cards. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that.
Yep.
Historically though, like doing auctions ending on a Sunday night's good.
Correct.
Right? Like ending on a Sunday night on a regular day would be an ideal time to end an auction. And like I would say do at least 5 days. Give yourself a little bit of time so people can find your card.
So if it's not something we got to put a little nuance on that, because if it's a brand new release, I think a 3 to 5 day window is something that's fresh on the market. You'll be one of the first ones to go to auction, have it end. I think that you want a shorter time frame. But you have something that's more established, or maybe like a Michael Jordan or Kobe or a GOAT or something that's been out for a while, where you're not going to have that new product fluctuation right off the bat. Personally, I like to start it on a Thursday, run a 10-day auction because it hits 2 different weekends. It ends on a Sunday night. And
I would
ideally...
Sorry, Rod.
I know
me.
I was just saying,
I would say like with Tops, when it comes out next week, I would be doing buy it nows. I would be getting that sale. If you give it a week, it's going to simmer down quite a bit. I would want to get that sale that day it comes out or the day after it comes out. So when people are hyped up about it, and you can get that's a story as old as time with sports cards. People pay for that hype that first day or two.
When you pulled that Johnny Bench, that auto, the 10 that you pulled, that was like what on release day of Topps last year.
Yeah.
Did you run that at auction or did you run that as a buy it now right away?
No, I see so maybe I made a mistake there. I didn't do it as an auction. I did it as a buy it now and kept it for about 2 weeks. And then I sent it to auction. So it didn't sell till about a month. It didn't actually end like the hammer at DC till probably about a month after.
So,
and it still went for over $200, but I was thinking, and I had offers, but not much more than what it ended up being. I think I had like a $250 offer and I had it up for like $400.
Yeah.
So
do you think that that day one, if you would have put it up for auction that first day for 3 to 5 day auction, something in that ballpark, do you think you would have got closer to like that $350, $400 mark maybe then for it? Because you would have been.
I would say if it was a prospect, a hot prospect, it would have gotten close to what the high end. Being that it was like old school guys, maybe not. It's maybe even more nuanced because it's old school guys. I would have probably got a little bit more, if I did it right away. But that's always, I could have also theoretically got more if I don't know if somebody just made me an offer at $350 and I had it at $400. I thought that was a legitimate possibility. And since nobody did give me a $350 or $325 offer, maybe nobody would have paid that in auction either. I don't know. That's debatable. But if it was a hot prospect, like if you get a CAGS rookie auto release day, something from him or whoever the big rookies, who are some of the big rookies in Series 1 off the top of your head, Tim?
Roman Anthony is probably the biggest one, yeah.
Wait, did he have rookie cards last year, though?
Mm-mm.
He had prospect,
prospect cards.
Stuff.
Okay, your Bowman prospects. Gotcha. So
Tim, you get Roman Anthony. It might make sense to do an auction. Yeah, but also like the base cards, I would just buy it now, right away. Get rid of them. Yeah,
absolutely.
So Tim, what about you? You did say you did run some auctions for the NFL playoffs and stuff like that. So when is an ideal time that you run your auctions? Is that your answer? Is that your answer?
I shit the bed on my Super Bowl listings, to be perfectly honest with you. So I was going back and forth between like, am I gonna do buy it nows or do auctions? Because I generally do buy it nows for my Super Bowl cards. But it was my wife's birthday on Friday, and I went to a card show on Saturday, which was a whole disaster in itself on my birthday. I was upset about that. I went to a card show inside a card shop, and the card shop wouldn't let me look through their bargain boxes after I finished looking at the card show.
What was the reason behind that?
They didn't say. The guy behind the counter was like, he's like, nah, I can't, you can't look through them right now. They're blocked off. I'm like, well, can't I just grab the box off of the shelf and look at it right here? He's like, nah, boss man said we're not allowed to today. I was like, all right. I bounced. I went to another card shop in another state. So, but yeah, so I got to it Sunday morning And I was like, damn, I forgot eBay sucks. It's not like dibditcards.com where I can have full and utter control of my auctions that I run, meaning I can start and stop it at any time for any duration that I want and not pay any fees. So the least you can do is 1 day. So I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm gonna run an experiment. So I put 15 cards up for auction. Every card I put up for auction, I put the player's name first, then I put the team name, then I put Super Bowl after it. So it was like Drake May rookie card, Patriots, Super Bowl, and then what the card actually was. Of those 15 cards that I put up for auction, one card got one bid yesterday during the Super Bowl. Damn. So they all end tonight, though, because they can only have to run for at least 24 hours. So we'll see what happens. I'll give you guys an update next week on what happens. So if they don't sell, I'd rather them not sell, because then I'll just run them through a live auction and get the $2 that I started them all at $1.99. And then I didn't sell any of my buy it now cards of any of the players I listed. None of the guys really had any big performances.
See,
you know?
I sold this right here. I sold that for $35 right before the game started.
Nice.
But I listed that morning, and that's something I found in a bargain box for probably $1.
But see, I didn't have like any like big cards. I had some numbered Kenneth Walker stuff, some numbered Ramondre Stevenson, some base Drake Mays. A couple of like refractor, silver prisms of Jackson Smith and Jigba, Barner, and Devin Witherspoon, and stuff like that. So like most of my big stuff I sold in the week between the Super Bowl and the championship games, which I think is actually better because you're rolling the dice at this point, which I didn't mind because it's not like I missed out on anything.
Well, you just missed out on the timing of it. So, like, it was ideally you would have had them end during that week, but at auction, so that it would be the height.
Yeah, but all the cards I put up were cards I bought on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, gotcha. Okay.
So it was like, like last ditch, just in case somebody did something crazy. So it wasn't my best performing Super Bowl as far as selling cards go, but I've been doing really well actually lately with the $10 to $50 range cards, selling quick too. I am 1000% switched over back to player name first thing in listing. I will not list anything any other way. Every single listing for like the last like 2 weeks and moving forward is the player's name first. That's 1000% how I'm going about listing now.
So before we move on, I mean, we know that live auctions are going to be different than the static auctions we're doing. And I will say Sam Darnold stuff did not sell well for me at all leading up as in a live selling format, but did really well in eBay for me. Yeah. But do you have any other piece of advice for people when it comes to auctions? People that maybe we got a lot of people that are new to this. We got a lot of questions here too. I'm going to kind of go.
Yeah, we'll get to those questions. I'll just say that the shark buyers are going to be buying Drake May right now. 1000%. All the sharps are going to be buying Drake May.
Jaden Daniels.
Yeah. Just want to remind everybody that of the quarterback class, so that's Bo Nix, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. Am I missing somebody? Who am I missing?
McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy hasn't played in a playoff game.
Oh, you just asked for the quarterback class.
Oh, yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
Okay.
So Jaden Daniels has the three.
Caleb Williams.
Yeah, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, and Drake May. Yep. Jaden Daniels has 3 of the top 5 QBR performances of all those quarterbacks in the playoffs so far in their careers. And all 3 of those were on the road. So just want to throw that out there for everybody.
I mean, how many years till they get back to the playoffs, though, for the Commanders?
Next year, for sure.
Dan Marino had so many records as a QB, but don't you think he would trade all those records for a Super Bowl ring?
For sure.
Okay, then then it doesn't matter.
Is Jaden Daniels the new
Jaden Daniels
Josh
isn't
Allen?
retired. He's 2 years under his belt.
He looked like he was retired this year, the way he played, bro.
Yeah, just kind of took a year off,
played
maybe?
Good when he played. Look at the stats. Look at the numbers.
His numbers.
He's kind of morphing into Jalen Hurts, like just not really an elite quarterback.
morphing
to
into a
Cary
blast
tried
out.
to- on that one.
give 2 low blow punches on
Yeah,
one
he's no
comment
Trevor
there.
Lawrence, guys.
Before we move on to the questions, though, guys.
Ooh, Trevor Lawrence is probably a good buy. In the
Yeah, Trevor
offseason.
Lawrence.
That's a
What
possibility.
about your guys' card show this weekend? We heard about Tim. I mean, did you actually find anything good? Because you had a bad experience at the card show.
I will tell you this. I bought like 150 cards between the card show and the 2 card shops, and I spent like $130. So it wasn't bad in that essence, but not a lot of like stuff. But I've been doing this thing now where like I'm listing my stuff. So I will tell you. Actually, I can't.
This is the part where Tim moves away from the microphone every show.
You
would think, but before the show starts, you take all the cards you bought for the weekend and put them on your desk. How about we try doing that next week?
I did buy enough cards where like, so out of all those cards I bought, this card, right, if I sold all these cards for their asking price, I'd be $20 in the profit.
Okay.
So I still have, the 100 other plus ones, but I'd say the Yamamoto image variation rookie, that's a nice little sneaky grab right there.
Show it one more time. Sorry, you had a big glare on it. Show it. I made you full screen. Oh, okay. That's the image variation there.
Yep. Charlie Condon color match.
Yamamoto stuff's still doing well,
Yeah.
by the way.
I finally found some Bowman draft stuff.
Okay. Nice.
Seth Hernandez, first Bowman Mojo.
That's
This
nice,
guy
man.
right here is a name. If you find him in the boxes,
Ethan Conrad,
Cary.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
First Bowman Laser, Eli Willits on the
Number
Prize
1 pick.
Prospects Mojo. This is probably my favorite card though. Spectra, Neon Blue, Doug Flutie,
color
jersey
match.
number match, 7 out of
Oh.
49.
That's cool.
That's sick.
Michael Carter, Optic Contenders, rookie card auto to 50. Hunter Henry, auto to 75.
Oh, nice.
And Sebastian Walcott, first Bowman Mojo. These are not easy to find. So.
Did you have that Hunter Henry listed?
Yep. He didn't have a catch till the fourth quarter. So
Yeah. What about you, Cary? How was your weekend? Because me and you actually went to different shows. So
Yeah. Mine was, I went to Ultimate Bangers in, at Lake Brantley High School. Is that Altamont Springs, Orlando area? It did pretty good, man. That show's up and down for me, and I actually had a really, really fun show. I found a lot of cool stuff. Loaded up on the newest Hall of Famer, Luke Kuechly. These were like $1 up, no, $1 to $2 a piece. But these are like numbered rookies, color match blues for $2.
do you think because he played for the Panthers, do you think he's going to have a big demand for his stuff?
Oh, he's always had a decent following, honestly.
Yeah.
Even before the Hall of Fame. But when you're getting numbered rookies of a Hall of Famer that just got announced, I don't think you can really lose.
Yeah.
It's not a card I would pay much more than $2 a piece for. Here's one that's kind of interesting. I wanted to get your guys' thoughts on this. This is a Reggie Bush, my first pro jersey card. And on the back, it says this is guarantees the jersey swatches from the front of the trading card as part of a uniform that Reggie Bush has proclaimed to be his first pro jersey. It was $3. So I don't know what first pro jersey means. Is this the jersey they gave him at like the NFL draft?
Maybe.
It looks
says
like
one on it. It says one on the top of it. So
yeah, I think it's from the NFL draft, which to me is really cool. And it was only $3 from Sage. Here's kind of a couple other sneaky ones I like that I got. This was only $1. This is in Australian basketball. I believe he's Australian. Mike Pinberthy. There's like a recent sale at I think like $28 on this one. So it's all over the place.
Those are the cards that Cary's best at. These not even just international, but like those late 90s, early 2000s basketball and football guys that like are flooded in dollar boxes that most people would never even look at. And Cary's like, the last one sold for like $28. And
there's a lot of that though. There's just, if you are educated, because I lived through it. So did you guys. Like this one's interesting. Like this is from Ultimate Victory, which was a low end, like collector's choice level set. And I would stay away from most of them, but this was $2. It's John Stockton. It's like a $15-ish card, numbered to 350. These were really tough pulls, and he's a Hall of Famer, Utah Jazz. So I love that kind of stuff. They don't sell necessarily super quick, but there's value there.
I'll show you a couple of my pickups here I picked up over the weekend. So I went to the flea market first, which I don't know. I got this is just an interesting card. The giant where they put the national treasure kind of, or not national treasure, baseball treasure. Where they put the giant. I didn't pay that price, but they put the giant coin in there. I just think they're interesting. But this is probably one of my favorite pickups. I'm a Ryan Howard fan, so Ryan Howard auto to
$5?
yeah, it was $5.
Out of Dodge. Are you kidding me?
I paid less than $5 for that actually. Yeah, number to 75. Yep.
That's got to be a $20 to $50 card, no?
I don't know. I didn't look it up.
I bet
But
you
dude, check this
probably
out. This is
20
interesting.
right
Have you guys ever found an unscratched off redemption that's still valid in a dollar box?
Oh yeah, all the time.
So I decided I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to cash it in because what I'm hoping is, since Panini is losing the football license, basketball license, stuff like that, if you find these, Panini won't be able to fulfill them. So then I'll end up getting like packs down the line or something for that.
Yeah,
But
in 10 years.
here's my favorite pickup from the flea market. Check this out. National Treasure, the 15, Lou Brock.
That's sick.
Yeah. So super cool card.
That is sick, dude.
I paid $35 for that. Like, so surprisingly, I thought these were going to be worth a lot more. I mean, there's comps like $50-$60. There's one for like 45.
That's that unlicensed.
Yeah, but still, I mean, still cool. But I did that, and then I left the flea market, and then on the way home, I hit up a card show in Zephyr Hills. It was like a small one, like 40 tables and stuff. And I picked up some stuff there, but it was very small. So, but
I have an interesting thing I just want to put in real quick. So that Mike Pinberthy that I bought, $28 sale in December. But it also, this is what's interesting, and I want to know what you guys would have done. I paid $2 for it, actually $1 for it. It literally has a $3 sale as well in January. You know, that messes up the comps, but I don't think
auction?
It wasn't. No, it was a buy it now. And then if you go and look at like what's listed, he only has 2 cards listed, and they're not that brand, and they're both over $40. They're both $40 and up. So I kind of ignore that $3 one. I mean, I'm willing to take obviously less than 30 or whatever. I'll take 15, 20 probably for it if I need to. But it's interesting, like, you know, the person who paid 3 might have paid a lot more, but since it was available at 3, because maybe people weren't paying attention, they just bought it.
I mean, that happens all the time. Like, remember I was going back and forth with the guys on Twitter about the super short print red prism out of Platinum Anniversary, Chris Bryant, which sold in 2 hours after listing, by the way, for $60. People were like, that's a $10 card. It's not that valuable. But I'm like, y'all just don't know. And it sold for $60 within 2 hours, right? And it's like somebody found a Shohei Ohtani super short print color match red prism Platinum Anniversary. Somebody listed it on eBay for $60 in November. And somebody bought it. And the guy who bought it ended up eventually finding the conversation I had, was my tweet kind of went a little viral, and came back and was like, I'm the one who bought that Shohei Ohtani. And I'm like, he's like, I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. He's like, I bought it so fast. I was surprised that it actually, you know, the sale went through. I was first to grab it, and the guy actually sent it to me because like the person probably just had no idea. I mean, and that's like, I think that's probably $1,000 card right now. And it's just like stuff like that happens on eBay a lot of times. People just like, there's people who for their jobs, their living, like they just sit at a computer all day and they just find those sort of, you know, slip through the cracks on eBay, basically.
Yeah. I used to do that for the longest time, because back in the day when I started on eBay in 1999. So back in the day, if you misspelled a word, it didn't autocorrect for you like they do now, like the search, like where so if you say, oh, no search, fine. So I would literally have a list of players I would search that had like names that would be, you know, commonly misspelled, and I would find deals all the time like that. So, and then I would actually I'd have my searches automatically set up to newly listed only, and then I would have all my save searches, so I would get instant notification something got listed for that category, and I would just sit there at my desk when I was working, you know, my corporate job, and just sit there all day long and just pick things off, lots of items and everything else off of eBay. And that's when I was doing like bobbleheads and toys and a ton of other stuff. But speaking about something interesting, Tim brought something to my attention about a certain soccer player. So you want to talk about this, because this is something that I think we should be very, very aware of especially with the situation.
So there's a soccer player who, a buddy of mine who's an Arsenal fan has been telling me about for some time now, and he's supposed to be like the next big thing, but he hasn't had any cards yet, and his first card's finally out. His name is Max Dowman, plays for Arsenal. So 2025-26 Topps Chrome Premier League just came out, and so his cards are in that set. And so Topps released an image of his Chrome Auto on Twitter, and then the first thing underneath of it, Topps put in a comment that said, in an effort to meet production deadlines and get Dowman into this product, his non-autographed cards were printed on foil board instead of Chrome. For anyone who finds these rare cards and wants to exchange them, we will offer a 1-for-1 replacement on the Chrome version. The autographed cards included in packs are Chrome as intended.
Is this the one right here? Is this the card? The one just sold is that it, or?
That's crazy. That's the card, but that card doesn't exist. There's no Chrome.
Then maybe they just put Chrome in there. Is this the foil one?
It's a super rare paper card. I wonder if it says Topps Chrome, but it's foil paper.
So it came out of Topps Chrome, but the card itself is paper. Look at that. Look at that sold comp on that card.
$960. That's wild.
Yeah. That's insane, man. So very, very interesting on that.
I'm sure you guys will probably, because you guys have that sort of access to the product that I don't. But if I were you guys, I would 1000% be opening up that retail, that soccer stuff, because that stuff is not like priced like Topps Chrome basketball. You can get a blaster box of that for probably $25-$30. No,
good question. I don't know. Let's see what they're actually going for right now. I don't buy any soccer. So, Cary, you buy soccer occasionally, and you do little breaks here and there with that.
Mm-hmm.
But have you bought any of this stuff yet?
No, I haven't. I didn't. This is me the first time I'm learning about this. So That's awesome.
So, Hobby Box in hand, Topps Chrome English Premier League Hobby Box. You buy it now on eBay right now for $300. So, a lot of 4 blasters for $180. So, I mean, that's people selling on the secondary market. So, I'm assuming if they're putting at that price point on eBay, that means that we're getting, let's see here if I can find blasters anywhere. People are selling blasters on eBay. Ones are sold $32, $33. Yeah. So it's
now I'm assuming that those are probably short printed, though.
Yeah, I'm assuming so too.
But still, I mean, it's an interesting thing, like, because you have that whole situation with Cooper with the X Fractors, right? And the X Fractor prices are going through the roof for basketball because you can trade them in for the blue ones. How much of that trade-in aspect of that card do you think affects the value and the selling prices? I think
it fuels it a little bit.
Well, going back to what you're saying with the blue X Factors, I think those are going to have tremendous value going forward because that deadline cuts off, I think, June or July.
So that's my other question. Yeah. Do you think that down the road, that foil card for Max Dowman and the regular X Fractor for Cooper Flag, the value of those flip-flop?
Flip-flop as in like
the regular X Fractor ends up becoming more valuable than the blue X Fractor, and the foil rookie card of Max Dowman becomes more valuable than the Chrome one.
No, I think
because all those cards are disappearing from the market.
But how much product doesn't get opened? You know what I mean? Like,
there's going to be far more or like whatever they call the X Fractors for Topps that will never be sent in than actually get sent in and come back. So I think the blues will always be more hype. Yeah. And same with Bo. Is it Dowman? Same with Dowman. Like, there's going to be far more of the foil ones available.
But there might not be, because those might be short printed.
It depends on, I guess, how short printed they are. I made this mistake, guys, in the bargain box, and it wasn't like low end bargain box. I bought a Con Knipple refractor that I thought was an X Fractor, and I made a rookie mistake. I paid $25, which is going rate for what it ended up being. It was a Pulsar. Maybe I need my glasses. They're different. One's square, one's round, right? But I literally went outside of the place and I did a video, guys. I did a video like, look out for this. I just found this. I'm going more than 2.5 times my money. I had it done, recorded, and then I'm like, wait. Afterwards, as I was walking to the car, I'm like, wait, that couldn't be a pulsar, right? And I looked,
By the time we get to
it's a
episodes,
pulsar.
by the time we get to episode 6, 7, these two jabronis are going to be wearing glasses with me.
No,
Because
I have
Rod the other
I need
the other
glasses
day-
desperately. I just don't wear them that much.
Rod was like, I think I need glasses, man.
I have them.
yeah.
I just don't wear them.
All
We're
right.
going to do rapid fire. Shout out to the Spotifyers. Rod, pull up the Spotify questions. We're going to do rapid fire.
I already got
While
the
you do
Spotify-
that,
I already got them pulled up, bro. It's already
while
done.
you do that, I'm going to shout out the members.
Yeah, so
Do we have any new ones added to the list?
no, we do. It's updated. So for those that don't know, we do have a membership. So if you guys want to help support the channel, it's $1.99. You can be a part of the bargain boxes. If you want to be an elite level at value box for $4.99, or you can buy a case like this guy right here for $9.99. You get early access to the show, and you get access to the special videos that we do. So if you guys don't want to pay money to support the show, hey, I don't blame you. We're bargain boxers. At least hit the subscribe button to subscribe. That also helps us out.
Big shout out to Vintage Cart 1971. Great year for a bottle of Todd. ACW Cards. Flip 316 says, what does Flip 316 say? That's what I really want to know.
No one
Vintage
knows.
sport flips with no S. Buster Chestnut. Sports card with chef in the kitchen whipping the Pyrex, baby. Neon Penguin. Shout out to our sticker provider. Cardboard Bambino. That's my guy. Shout out Bambino. Where Yin's at? Big shout out to Nick. Our guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Mr. Big Tom. Make sure you guys check out Big Tom Sports Cards on Instagram.
Yes,
and,
sir.
of course, my guys from Chicago, Bear Down, Chicago Cubby, DZ Money 1167. And then for our other members who get the high speed shout-outs, you got Lodi Sports Cards, Brown Jordan, Shaky 1994, Lax and Philly, Bico, Chrono, Rig, Diltrons, Bargain Box is going to be Derek Kramer 1595, Austin Ardinger 2575, P Bird Cards, and then we're going to have Yam Starts, the Tank 211, Jabin Rigo, and Dumbluck 2929. This message is brought to you by DibditCards.com.
All right, we got some questions. So let's see here. Speaking about Flip 316 says on Spotify.
Oh, he does say something.
Yeah.
We're
So
about
first
to
comment
hear
here for the Loggins boys. All right, would you ever consider having a fan episode? Because I'd love to come on and talk shop with you guys. I'm just outside of Dallas, and I go to card shows regular here in the DFW area. Anyway, all the best boys.
1000% we should do a live call in.
Yeah,
maybe not
call-in
live.
show.
No.
Maybe
Dude, we
rephrase
should do
that,
it
'cause-
live. We
Yeah,
we
I
could
guess we
behave
do it
ourselves.
live.
The best way I think to do that would be to give back to the members. So people that are either the value box, we could do some of the value box people or the buy case members and invite
They
them
get
on.
first dibs.
They would they would be the ones that we would
Only ones.
the people that support us and the people that we want to interact with. So I think that would be the probably the best approach to that.
We
So
want to
basically,
interact
Rod's
with
saying you guys should
everybody.
get memberships if you want to be on that
No,
show.
I'm just saying is like these are people that have been with us for a while. And
This feels
I
like
think-
a buy a case. It feels like you're trying to get more money to buy another case.
Yeah,
I would love
he's
to buy
just
more
he's
cases,
just
but-
shill billing. It's okay.
Chill, Billy.
Yeah, here we go. All right.
We should get you a T-shirt that says "Shill Billy Rod."
All right, so UTR Media. All right, I'm a fan of Jake Berger, more for off the field stuff as he's a big advocate for the special needs community. Are there
Nice.
any players cards that you guys scoop up because you just like who they are as people, even if they're not an all-star caliber player?
Ooh, okay.
This is
Now this is a little bit tricky. It's because I guess there are people like that, like Notre Dame guys, but it's not necessarily the people that they are, but like, they're not all Notre Dame players end up being like great NFL players. I will tell you that one of my biggest PCs is Adam Jones from the Baltimore Orioles, who was an all-star a couple of times and was a fantastic baseball player. But that guy has done so much for the city of Baltimore and inner city baseball in general. It's amazing. So I would throw him in that category probably for me.
for me, it's people that I've like interacted with. So there's a UFC fighter named Chris Barnett. When I was on tour with the XFC, he actually fought with us in Tampa. I used to hang out with him a lot. So when he made the UFC, I pick up his cards all the time. I find them in like bargain boxes. Also too, like Jay Lethal, who trained me to be a pro wrestler, I pick up his stuff if I see it. Or there's anyone that, people I have, for me, it's more or less the people I have interactions with in the past. There's certain people that I would never buy because they had a really crappy interaction with me. And so the people I don't want to buy, so it goes both ways.
I mean, there's tons of guys throughout the years that I've looked for and stuff. I think I have a Jabari Smith Sr. auto or a couple cards in my PC. I had a great interaction with him when I was a kid. I used to go to the Rocky Mountain Review, the Utah Summer League. And he was, a rookie in 01, I think. And I remember, hey man, can I have your headband? And he came back after that game and gave me his headband. I'd wear that playing basketball for years because headbands were cool in the early 2000s. Yeah. I don't think I even washed. I just played, man, because it was good luck. And so that dude I always loved. Jamal Crawford was one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life too back then. He would talk to you. He was super nice. Dawn is very much like that, though. Dawn gets bored at the card shows. She oftentimes goes with me. You guys watch my videos. You probably know that. But she looks for Keon Coleman almost exclusively because he's funny on TikTok and charming and sweet. And she just likes him as a person. She doesn't really care if he's good or not. She just likes Keon Coleman. So she collects him. And then also Dennis Rodman, because I guess he was cool back in the day.
He's a dude. I'll tell you, did I ever tell you my Dennis Rodman story when I was right into in Vegas? Man. My buddy got married at Caesar Palace, and it was like a noon in like the middle of the summer. Bro, backtrack there. My buddy books his wedding in Vegas. A week later, they announced we booked our hotels. A week later, they announced Mayweather versus Pacquiao in Vegas the same night as his wedding. So he would have been screwed if he would try to plan his wedding after that. He would have to change up everything. But anyway, make a long story short, we're in Vegas. We're at the center bar at Caesar's Palace. Noon. His wedding's at noon. It's like 11:30. Me, the best is me, the couple of the groomsmen, and my buddy. Right. There's no one else around. Dennis Rodman is walking up with a bag of lingerie, sits it down the bar right next to us, and he has this guy who's like the size of a house next to him. I mean, this guy's massive. Like he looked like he could bind an offensive lineman, like a tackle and a guard, had a baby, and just out came this guy. He was that's how huge he was. And we're all sitting there. I was like, oh my buddy's like, oh my God, that's Dennis Rodman. I was like, Gino, it'd be awesome. We get a picture with him for your wedding. Like, this is awesome. So I walked up to Dennis Rodman. I said, hey, I was like, Mr. Rodman, do you mind? My buddy's about to get married in about a half an hour. Can you take 1 second, just take a photo? It'd be awesome present for his wedding. Looks at me, takes one sip of his drink. He goes, nope. And I was like, I was furious, absolutely furious. There's no one else around, bro. There's no one else around. Like, I'm looking around, like, it wasn't like, I can see there's a bunch of people there and they saw him take a picture. He's afraid other people walk up. He's just by himself. No one else around. He must have been, you could tell, he looked like he was on a bender for freaking probably the last 48 hours. But at the end of the day, what a jerk, man. So the moral of the story for everyone is it doesn't cost you anything to be nice to people. And you hear all this talk about it.
You can't say that, but
were you in your full scoundrel gear?
A bad day.
Dude, I was wearing a suit. I understand that. I asked him politely. I told him it was for my friend's
and
wedding.
He told you politely.
He told, I was also thinking that too. I'm like, he just used his free will to say no. He wasn't.
There's nothing wrong with that. But I guess I'm not just using that situation. I'm just talking about overall situation.
I understand what you're saying.
It doesn't. Everything that we just said. Why we collect. Why this guy collects. Jake Berger and everything else, because they are a good person. Keenan Coleman, stuff like that. We like him. So the moral of the story is, guys, it doesn't take anything extra to be nice to someone or to do good deeds, because it does come back tenfold. So, all right, here's a couple comments. Andrew Reamer says, this one's for Tim. I ran out of space on my 128 gig too, his phone. That was an old comment when you talked about you running out. Giambi Fan 7 says, I missed the Kmart boxes.
Oh,
they even had those mystery boxes with multiple packs for $10. I live for those. I know.
I miss the collector's choice and scoreboard boxes I used to buy in the 90s at Kmart.
All the time, man. Let us know in the comments down below if you guys bought boxes at KB Torx or at Kmart back in the day, because you can get the best boxes for $10.
If I could go back to 1995, there's two things I would do, and none of them involve buying stocks or anything or making bets. They'd be go to Kmart, buy a 95, 96 collector's choice box, and load up on Ostertag, because he's going to have a solid career.
All right, there you go. All right. D Clawler 1224 says, I'll try and give you guys a decent Spotify comment for you guys to talk about next week's show. How do you guys recommend about going about being a prospector like Tim? Too many people seem to be overwhelming, having to keep up with. There's just so many prospects out there. Same with the basketball and football, etc. I'm a huge sports fan. I watch many sports all year round consistently, but I find it hard to keep up with prospecting. Is there any process you guys use to help yourself keep up to date with these players? Thanks in advance.
But I mean, if you can't watch film, just box score. Watch the box score. Like MLB, there's a few guys that like I value their information and their takes. There's a guy on Twitter. His name is Big Bob Sports Cards. He has a Substack. He is one of the most brilliant minds in prospecting as far as baseball, as far as Bowman cards go. And there's another guy, Dahl, like David Dahl, used to play for the Rockies. Dahl's Cards, I think his name is, or something like that. And Let's Talk Wax on YouTube. So, like, you know, just I periodically check in with those guys, and then I set my notifications up for like anytime MLB Pipeline posts something, like a highlight during the season or like new information regarding prospects and stuff like that. Then I get that information and then I digest it. It's a lot of digesting information. If you can't watch film and you're not like a professional scout, a lot of it is just digesting information. And it's guys that don't have like the pre-release hype that everybody knows about. That's kind of the best thing for me to do is, and a lot of it is just like everything else we do with bargain boxing. You buy and learn. If you find a Bowman auto from a guy within the last 2 years in a bargain box, you pick it up and then you go look it up and go look up his stats and see where he's at in the farm system, stuff like that, and kind of go down a rabbit hole. You have to enjoy it to really be able to do it.
What about you, Cary?
I would just say, yeah, follow those people. Also, the MLB, like the top 100 prospect list. I like to go over it before I try to, like before card shows every weekend, just to refresh my mind. Look in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s. I think a lot of time that's where you're going to find some stuff that's actually in the bargain box. Now, I'm not a guy that really is buying, hoping cards are going to go up. But for me, you just having that knowledge, you're going to find undervalued cards that are already worth the buy just by knowing that information. If you know Noah Schultz or whatever, he's like, a pitcher on the Chicago White Sox, you find a Bowman. He might not be a guy you can find, but like if you find a Bowman first, or maybe more than likely in the bargain boxes, you may find like a wild card auto or something that's off brand, like a prospect edition auto. But if it's the right player, you can make some money. Carson Binge or something, like somebody who might go under the radar and people miss. I find stuff like that all the time at the National last year, at the freaking National. I got Bubba Chandler, Prism Auto for $3 at the National in a bargain box. And that was, he was already on the list. I think he was in the top 10 at that moment.
Wow.
But like people just
find.
Yeah, that stuff's at the biggest card show, and there was more that I missed and that other people got or didn't get even.
Cary, but you don't watch a lot of sports, so why don't you explain
your
process? Explain your process.
My prospect is box scores, checking the stat leaders. I love going like through the NBA and going. NBA is a little more complicated, but go through the NBA and just look at the top guys, and then I'll realize, Nikhil Walker-Alexander is averaging like 20 points a game right now. His stuff's going to be
the guy, before I forget, who was the guy you made a post about this recently? It was a guy whose card you picked up, and I didn't recognize the guy's name, and you were like, he's averaging 20 points a game.
Oh, wow. Gosh, I'm not sure.
It was on Facebook. I can't remember his name.
I can look. Let me see.
He was averaging 20 points a game in 19.
Oh, no, that's Malik Renault. He's in college, though. So I found for $1, and this is honestly still not a card that's worth a ton. I'll probably make $2, $3 profit on it right now, and it could go up a little. It's profitable.
Madness, conference championships and stuff like that are coming up in the next.
Yeah, it's an Inception. Too. Malik Renault. It was $1. He's averaging, I think, 19.7 or 9 points a game for Miami. So not a small school. There's a lot of that in college basketball is littered with that. Like there's prospects that are on different teams from 3 years ago in a Bowman product that are now maybe seniors or juniors, and they're playing well. And even with that said, there's not a huge bump, but you could still find them right now and make a little bit of profit now. And then if you're prospecting and believe they can do something in the tournament, you can maybe make even more if you hold. You could also lose. That's all part of that if you hold too long. But I love that. Like, I don't know where I heard about Renault. I heard about Renault somewhere in the back of my head. So I'm like, I should look and see how he's playing. For some reason, I think he's playing well. And then I looked and he's playing pretty well. So yeah, your phone is your best friend. Look stuff up at the bargain box table if you need to. And sometimes I don't even look up how much their card is. Like how much their comps are. I look, how are they playing right now? Yeah. If it's $1 and they're averaging 17, 18 points a game in the NBA, I'm probably picking it up because there's going to be people from that team that are going to pay at least $5 or something for it, in my opinion. So I'll pick it up.
So I would say for me going, I just got back into cards a couple years ago, and it was a lot to learn, man. It's like getting force-fed with the fire hose, trying to learn everything. But a couple of things that really helped me was, number one was pick a year. So maybe it's this, like last year, I did a deep dive in the college football draft, of college football prospecting, and college football, and because I was looking at Bowman U, so I watched a lot of Bowman U prices for the year. I followed the draft religiously, and that helped me not only learn about players coming up, in this year and in the following year, but also helped me with the NFL, because when these players are dropping cards and stuff like that, I already had an inkling of who was going to be really good or who could be a hidden gem prospecting wise. And like Tyler Warren, I was a huge Tyler Warren fan because I was a Penn State guy, so I followed him through college and stuff like that. So like, I already knew right away for him, and he was favorite in the room rookie of the year at one point in time throughout the year because he was having an outstanding year, and then Daniel Jones got hurt and all that happened. Actually, Tim gave me this idea, and this actually helped me tremendously. Is you don't have to buy into breaks, but go on and watch Bowman breaks. Go on and watch, the new baseball product that's going to be breaking. Go watch new football product be breaking, because a lot of these, not all of them, but I mean, a lot of the breakers are going to be more educated prior than you, because they have to let you know what the big hits are, or they're going to ask the chat for help. So it's literally like having a live session, learning about what is like the new hot prospects coming out. So that definitely helped me out a lot.
That's a good point. Like a good breaker is a great source of information just to watch, because their job is to sell the product. So they're going to need to know, beyond the obvious prospects in Bowman, like Eli Willits or whatever. They're going to need to know who the top prospect is for a team that picked 20th overall in the MLB draft. They're going to need to know who that is, or some of the, better known second, third, fourth, fifth rounders, whatever. So I think that's a really solid idea.
The next big drop for prospects is they released the top 100 for the first edition of 2026, but now as pitchers and catchers are reporting to spring training in a couple of days. By the way,
was it the 12th or something? I think.
Yeah, so in like 3 days,
Thursday?
pitchers and catchers start reporting.
We should go to some minor league stuff, Rod. By the way,
I'm definitely down.
The top 30. The new 2026 top 30 for each team, they're going to start releasing those soon, and they'll do it by division. So they'll release like AL East, AL Central, AL West. So keep an eye out for those, because if you look on the top 26 on MLB Pipeline, it'll have the top 100 prospects, but if you look under the teams, it'll say coming soon. So just keep an eye out for that.
And both these guys said about paying for an education. If I go to a bargain box and I find something that's $5 and under, 2, 3, I'm just gonna buy it, because if I think it could be good or potentially be good. I made a lot of mistakes for the last year, but it's like almost like paying for a class, because what I would do is, say if I went to a card show, I spent $100 and I picked up 50 cards, and they're all prospects, or there might be rookies or new players, or I had some autos. I would go home and look up each one of those cards. Just like Cary said, I'm looking at the stats and look up the card value, and then we'll see what the potential are. So that was another way I learned a lot. And if you want to learn about college football stuff, Gaby Card Stacks, listen to the channel. He is probably one of the best resources for college football, and he even offers his own like Patreon, where you can go there and I don't know whether it's $5 a month or whatever it is a month, but he gives like in-depth videos. Same thing, like Let's Talk Wax. They offer like their own little like subgroup where you pay like a $5 a month fee or whatever and get extra access to this stuff. So
we are in the golden era of sports cards education, where you don't even need to pay for it, and you could definitely pay to get even more help if you need it.
Correct.
But 5-10 years ago, it was totally different, and there are some negatives. People are more savvy and more educated, especially like with very particular things like prospecting than ever before. But if you want an edge, there are people, out there giving advice, helping. And I'm not just talking about prospecting, just knowing who to look for that's worth money right now. And there's small YouTube channels, big YouTube channels everywhere. Not to mention all these other sites like, the pipeline and everything we can get daily information from as well. It's awesome. It's a great time to do this. It really is.
Absolutely. P-Bird on Spotify goes, I'm here as a Spotifyer. I want to say, since I didn't get to say this on the last show, Tim's shipping is on point. I'm about it. Got 2 packages from him. I had no issues. Just shout out to Tim. So, yeah, Tim's shipping is on point. Cary's shipping is on point. But we all know my shipping is the best. And that was voted on by the viewers. So, hey, I just want to put that out there. Just make
if we're ignoring their votes, sure. If we're just falsifying records. No.
All right, last question. I'm not sure if you guys want to save this one for this show here, the end with, or we say this when we do this in long form. But Dur85 question is from YouTube: which percentage of your 62-cent cards don't sell at auction? So what he's meaning is that Tim, you go and say, hey, I bought 75 cards today for $60. It came out to 62 cents a card or whatever it would be a card. So, do you want to go through the logistics on that? Or you guys want to say that more for
I'll give you a quick answer, and then we should probably go into I think that'd be an interesting episode, like how we talk about how we sell the cards that we buy, like, choosing between what we list, what we send off for consignment, what we do in live auctions, which platform we sell in the live auctions. But currently right now, I'd say maybe like 10% don't sell in the live auction, and that doesn't include the ones that I'm listing. Like 10% of the cards that I run through a live auction don't sell through on that first week that I have the cards. But I'm pretty good. Last week I had a lower success rate, but I think that was because I bought a lot of niche 90s refractors, and I just don't have the buyer base on Dibdit Cards or whatnot for those particular type of cards, and they weren't valuable enough to list on them on their own. So I got to think about what I'm gonna do with those. I might lot it all up together. I might send it off for consignment. I'm not really sure yet.
Okay. What about you, Cary? What's your percentage if you go and you spend $300 on cards this weekend? What percentage are you quick moving, and what percentage are you holding back?
Right now, I'd say quick moving, like in auction the next week, is probably 30 to 50%. It
Live
probably
auction
needs to be a little higher that go directly.
I think what the guy's asking though is, I think the guy's asking us what percentage are we running through the live auction, but what percentage of the cards that we do run through live auction actually sell. I think that's what he's.
Oh, that's a great question. Percentage that actually sell that run, I would say like 80% plus on average. There's weeks where it's probably
20% don't sell. You're saying?
Yeah, 20% don't sell on average. There's weeks where it's only 10% or 5% that don't sell, but that's okay because if assuming you're making money on these, I look at the cards I purchase in a weekend as a bulk lot. Like $300, $500. I want to make my money back theoretically that next week. And sometimes that includes me taking stuff from my store that's already listed from previous weeks at auction that have sat too long, and I run them. So my goal always is, like, if I go spend $300 at the card show this weekend, I want $300 back on my Monday night show at least. But then a lot of times that means I also have half the cards I bought the previous weekend that I'm putting as a buy it now, that I want to give a chance to sell at the highest price possible, or a chunk that I want to send to DC or something. But yeah, most of the cards I put up sell because I know what the people, that are coming to my shows want. They don't always sell at exactly the price you want. That's the tricky part, because there's the lower you can buy, the better. There's definitely cards that sell for less than what I paid. And then there's cards that sell for significantly more than what I paid for. And the key is for it to average out to be a profit every week.
I would say probably mine is probably closer to 5 to 10% don't sell, but they almost all sell because I do something which I call the stacking game. So if I put cards up, they don't sell. If I try to put them up the following week, they don't sell. What I end up doing then is I wait till I have like a stack of cards, and then I start, I'll put a Shohei or Jordan up there, and then I'll say, okay, guys, the longer you bid, the more cards I'm adding, and then maybe I'll go to my stack. I have 2 stacks here, so some good stuff and then stuff that didn't sell, and I'm mixing it in together. And someone's getting a big deal in this massive lot. You know, they might get 20, 30 cards in that lot for, you know, $25 or $20, whatever it is at a point in time, but they're still selling. So I already made my money back from, you know, I already made my money plus some from the stuff I did in the previous weeks. And when I get to that point, I'm just pushing out inventory to just move it. People are getting good deals and stuff, but at the end of the day, then I'm still moving.
Sometimes where you a card doesn't sell or a lot doesn't sell, but then you put it back in. Like I have a box that I'm running that's like my whatnot box or my live sale box. And a week later, 2 weeks later, I'll run it again and then it'll make a profit. So just because you don't sell the initial cards, you know, that 5, 10, 20% that week from that lot, it may sell 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, maybe with an extra card added or no cards added just because the right buyers are in the building. So
it's also crazy too, because there's weeks where this has happened to all of us, where we put up a card for $2, it doesn't sell, or maybe early in the show you put up $2, and then at the end of the show, you put the same card up and it sells for $5, $6. Or like last 2 weeks ago, I did a live show. I put up a card for $2, didn't sell. Ran it the next week and it sold for like $8. So like you just never know, you know. Like there's a lot of players, there's a lot of things that play into that. The player's performance, depending who's in the chat, you know, and everything else. But I think that's it, fellas, for the day, man. You guys got any final words for the audience, Tim? We'll start with you.
www.dibditcards.com.
No matter how many W's put in,
you
still go to Dibdit, allegedly.
Yes.
So this week on Dibdit Cards, I believe the 11th, which is when this comes out, I'm going to be announcing the contest for the month of February. So I'm going to be giving away a blaster to the person who has the most number of purchases on Dibdit Cards. And the seller outside,
that, by the way.
And a seller outside of myself that has the most number of sold transactions will also win a blaster. Also, this Wednesday night, Kevin the Commonwealth Picker is going to be going live doing a sports card auction, and he's got a ton of crazy, cool, random stuff.
What night's he doing that?
Wednesday night, the night this comes out. So I will be going live before him to announce the giveaway. Announce the contest winners, and then raid into him. And then when he finishes, he'll raid into me, and I'll run some cards as well. So nice, fun, packed nights on dibditcards.com.
I'm thinking about doing a show maybe this week. I don't know. I'll probably announce it, or I don't know if I'll announce it, but just check Dibdit. I kind of want to just do like a casual pop-up, though, when I have a little bit of time. I haven't done one in a while there.
Tim, I would like to do me and you just do a show next week. Maybe next Wednesday or something like that. Yeah, let's do some singles. Yep. So cool. Cary, any final words?
No, we appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for watching the No Banger Sports Card Podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends, tell your family, tell your wife, tell your kids, tell people at the gas station, tell people when you're dropping mail off, tell your doctor, your dentist, the dental assistant. Let them know that if they want to get into low-end sports cards, that there is a group of guys that want to help.
And they'll all be wearing glasses by episode.
But yeah, they will. I like how we all did different hats today. I didn't even do a hat.
Yeah.
You started.
You did like a beanie. You did like a weird like elf beanie, and then
you did the.
Rod's got to cover up the hair situation, so I respect it.
Yeah, you look like you're wearing a dad hat for sure. That looks like something like Wasteland Managed. Oh, what is that?
Yingling beer, baby.
Is that a beer?
Yeah, Yingling beer, oldest brewery in North America. But all right, guys. Well, let's end it right there. On that note, remember, guys, Bangtown.
I was mean to Rod. I'm sorry.
26. Come to a back alley close to you where you live.
7-Eleven parking lot. No bangers.
Behind a CVS near you guys.
1, 2, 3. No bangers.
No bangers. You better have done it, folks.